is up, everybody? Welcome into the show. May 24th, Saturday, a beautiful day in Dallas, Texas. We are creeping closer and closer to the fantasy football season. I couldn't be any more excited. I know you guys are as well. We're like less than 3.5 months away from the season now. It's mind-blowing. It's almost June. When June hits, we're pretty much just like exactly 3 months away from the season. It's amazing how fast it's coming. So if you haven't noticed, I'm pretty much coming at you every single day with fantasy football content now. It's that time of year, time to start ramping things up. And I'm going to be talking to you guys today about quarterback wide receiver stacks, guys. This is huge. This is going to be league-winning advice, and I'm going to help you win fantasy football leagues this year with these quarterback wide receiver stacks. But real quick before I get into it, guys, if you haven't heard already, I've relaunched my Patreon, and, well, I'm going to be doing the Patreon league again this year. This is going to be the third league that I've had, the third Patreon league. So all you got to do is join the Patreon. It's only $5 to join. Click that description below and get in the league with us. It's going to be $800 for first. It's going to be a fun season. So have some fun with us. Join the Patreon and get access to my draft guide that I have for Patreon members only. Anyways, guys, I am going to be giving you my top quarterback wide receiver stacks. And I'm going to start right here with the first one on my list, and that is Matthew Stafford and Devonte Adams. Now, every stack I have on this list, I usually don't start with like my favorite one when I do lists of players, but this might be my favorite stack. I mean, you look at the value. Matthew Stafford going as the quarterback 25. This is a guy who was 12th in the league in air yards last year, 3,871 air yards, had 20 passing touchdowns. And this is with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua both missing significant time last year. He still put up very good passing numbers with, his top two receivers pretty much being on and off the field all season long. So just imagine if Puka and Devonte Adams can stay healthy, what kind of numbers Matthew Stafford could put up. My gosh, he's being slept on like crazy. He might be the best quarterback value in the draft, maybe besides Dak Prescott. And my gosh, this dude's just absolutely going to blow up. You pair him with Devonte Adams. Look, Devonte Adams is up into his 30s, but dude, it doesn't matter. He hasn't slowed down at all. A 29.5% target share last year. He was 5th in the NFL in overall target share last year. He was 10th in snap share, 10th in route participation. So he was top 10 in both of those. Vital utilization statistics, he's still going to use like a wide receiver one in fantasy. And the dude had 473 yards after the catch last year. So he's still running like an elite player after the catch. He was top 10 in run after the catch numbers last year. This dude is an absolute fantasy monster. He's still got it. He's an absolute target share monster, always has been. And now he's going to the Rams, the team that out of all NFL teams hyper targets their wide receiver ones more than any team in the NFL. We saw it with the years with Cooper Kupp. We've seen it with Puka Nacua. This dude and Puka Nacua are both going to receive like 10 or 11 targets a game. It doesn't matter that he's technically the wide receiver 2 on the depth chart. Yes, Puka's the wide receiver 1, but mark my words right now, Devonte Adams is going to receive 10 or more targets a game in this offense. This dude's absolutely going to explode. The combination of his natural ability to have an insane amount of target share and going to the offense in the league that hyper targets their top receivers more than any other NFL team, period. This dude's target share is going to be through the roof. The efficiency is going to be through the roof. The offense is going to be extremely efficient with 2 wide receivers of that caliber. Look for Matthew Stafford and Devonte Adams to win leagues this year, guys. This is going to be probably the biggest league-winning stack in all of fantasy, considering that you could get Devonte Adams in round 3, and you could get Matthew Stafford in round like 900. So stack these guys together. It's going to be one of the biggest league-winning stacks, if not the biggest league-winning stack in all of fantasy football. And you're simply missing out if you're not stacking these guys together as much as you possibly can. So do that. Matthew Stafford, Devonte Adams stack. It's money. Next stack on my list is going to be Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Now, basic stack right here. Probably one of the most obvious elite stacks in fantasy, if not the. The only quarrel that people would have with this is, well, you got to take Jamar Chase with the 101 or the 102. And you're taking a quarterback in Joe Burrow that does have some rushing upside, but doesn't have elite rushing upside. But with that being said, who the heck cares? This is the best stack in fantasy as far as their overall ceiling of points that they can get you. They showed it last year. Joe Burrow was 3rd in the league in fantasy points per game. Jamar Chase was number 1 in like every wide receiver statistic you can possibly think of. Joe Burrow last year, 4,918 passing yards, 1st in the league. 4,609 air yards, 1st in the league. number 1 in the league in quarterback rating, and 3rd in fantasy points per game. My gosh, if you're not drafting as much of this dude as possible, what are you doing? And then Jamar Chase obviously is one of the most likely candidates to be the wide receiver 1 this year. You look at his stats from last year: 1,700 receiving yards, 127 receptions, 787 yards after the catch. This is what makes Jamar Chase the monster that he is. Not only is he an elite talent and an elite offense with one of the best quarterbacks throwing him the ball, but the minute he gets the ball in his hands, he's the biggest run after catch monster in the entire league. The entire league. There's no run after the catch monster that compares to Jamar Chase with the ball in his hands and running after the catch. There simply just isn't. And so if you're stacking these guys together, you're getting the stack that has the highest inherent ceiling of any stack in fantasy by a wide margin. So make sure to stack Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Don't overthink it. Do it as much as possible. Next and final stack that I have here on my list is Tua and Tyreek Hill. Now, there's going to be some controversy with this stack because, well, the Dolphins were a dumpster fire last year, right? Tyreek Hill's numbers fell off a cliff. Tua couldn't stay on the field, right? But this is exactly my case of why you should take these guys. We've got a 3-year sample size with Tua and Tyreek Hill. 2 out of the 3 seasons, Tua went off, and Tyreek Hill had over 1,700 receiving yards. And, let's keep in mind that Tyreek Hill could have had 2,000 receiving yards 2 years ago, but he had that knee injury late in the season. Look, this is one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos that we've ever seen in fantasy. And just because they fell off a little bit last year, so what? Tua missed 6 games last year. Tyreek Hill was playing with a wrist injury for a large chunk of the season. So if you look at the amount of games that they played together, where both of them were 100%, it is a very small fraction of the season. I assure you that's why. We saw the Tyreek Hill fall off. And, if you look at Tyreek Hill and Devonte Adams, they're still basically the same age. You don't have to fall off just because you're a 31-year-old wide receiver. Tyreek Hill's going to freaking explode. He's going to come back. He's going to be one of the biggest bounce-back monsters in all of fantasy. This is always where we get our best value of fantasy. Players that are coming off a poor season, but we still know that based on the large sample, they have a large inherent ceiling, a massive, league-winning upside type of ceiling. That's the ceiling Tyreek Hill has. He could be a top 5 overall wide receiver in fantasy. And if you look at every fantasy expert in the field, they're all telling you to avoid him. This is driving his ADP down. Earlier in the offseason, he was around 2 pick. Now he's around 3 pick. Take this guy. Don't overthink it. This dude, when healthy and when his quarterback is healthy, is absolute money. You look at Tua. Last year, he only played 11 games, like I said, but look at the 2023 season. The dude had over 4,600 passing yards. He might not give you any rushing upside, but the dude is going as the quarterback 22, and he has the opportunity to pass for over 4,500 yards this year. I think that 4,000 is a very safe bet, and I think that he will pass for over 4,000 yards. Tyreek Hill, still one of the fastest receivers in the game. In the 2023 season, his last full season where he was actually healthy the whole year, minus the late season knee injury, he had 8 games where he had over 100 receiving yards, and he had over 1,700 receiving yards total. These guys are absolute money for fantasy. Don't listen to anyone telling you to avoid Tyreek Hill just because they saw him do poorly last season. The reason he did poorly is because Tua wasn't healthy for a large chunk of the season, and Tyreek Hill himself was playing with a wrist injury. Obviously, we've got to monitor a little bit of the drama that's going on in the locker room because Tyreek Hill is saying all these things like, oh, it's time to go coach, and, oh, I need to find another team, everything like that. I don't buy it. I think that Tyreek Hill is going to be playing for the Dolphins this year, and Tua and Tyreek Hill is one of the best stacks you can get in fantasy because you can get Tyreek Hill in round 3, and you can get Tua as the quarterback 22 for crying out loud. What are we doing not drafting as much of this stack as possible? It is one of the highest ceiling stacks in fantasy, and you're getting Tyreek Hill in round 3 and Tua as the number 22 quarterback overall. Draft as much of this stack as possible. Do not listen to people telling you to avoid Tyreek Hill. This dude is going to be one of the biggest bounce-back monsters in all of fantasy. All right, guys. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning into the video, and I'll catch you later.